Everyone has something to offer, and personal branding is basically branding what you have to offer.
I think I would have answered that question in a different way, let's say 2 years ago.
There's an old saying that says that personal branding is what people say about you when you're not in the room.
To be honest, to be authentic is a much bigger deal nowadays.
My name is Victor Sosanya. I'm a second-year student studying economics and industrial organization at the University of Warwick, and I'm also work as a personal development and personal brand coach.
My name is Alexandra, and my background is I have a background in fashion and film, and so I've worked for 25 years in these industries between Paris and London, because I worked along some of the very visionary leaders of that time.
What is the meaning of personal branding to you?
So what personal branding means to me is very short. It's a complete profile of who you are, what you stand for, and the value that you add to the world.
I think I would have answered that question in a different way, let's say 2 years ago.
So personal brand is basically branding yourself, marketing yourself, and it's in the word personal.
I saw in the last, year and a half, how much our trust has been shaken in leadership, in the economy, in the financial sector, and all of that.
So, everyone has something to offer, and personal branding is basically branding what you have to offer.
To be trustworthy, to be honest, to be authentic is a much bigger deal nowadays than it has ever been before.
So whether you're offering your services to an employer, customers, or even a lifelong partner, I think personal branding is very important.
So for me, personal branding is really to show up as the whole you.
There's an old saying that says that personal branding is what people say about you when you're not in the room.
Like sometimes when I talk to people, they think branding is about a logo or whatever, but it's obviously not.
And I think that saying is true, but in the new digital age we have, personal branding is also about your physical presence online and what you portray.
To be really owning who you are in the world and what your mission is.
What are the benefits of building a personal brand?
I think number one will be networking. When you build a personal brand, you actually find that a lot of people will start to get in touch with you because they're curious about yourself and what you've posted and what you represent.
And so what I try to do with my clients is to be very specific of who they want to work with, what they want to do.
You get to be invited into cool spaces that you might not have been before.
Walk out into the world, after their branding really looks like them and they can own it.
Another one is job opportunities.
They have a different aura and they have a different inner attitude.
People can openly see and hear about, the great things that you're doing or what you're passionate about.
And they have a different sparkle when they walk through the world.
And therefore, they can actually invite you to a potential interview.
It is to their own benefit, first of all, to their own well-being.
Or bring you along on board to a potential startup or maybe even a project that can lead into a job.
And to their own sort of being proud of who you are.
Personal branding actually allows you to have a source of income.
You are probably offering something thousands of other people are also offering.
Because now you can actually start to brand products, that sort of represent what you stand for, and you can actually sell that. And because of that personal brand you've built, because people have bought into you as a person, you're most likely to sell that.
When people have invested money and time and care into their own personal branding, they most certainly walk through the world in a different way.
What attracts you to someone else's brand?
Brand identity. So this compromises of a few things.
Why do we find Apple attractive, or Mini, or Gucci, or all these sort of fantastic big brands?
One of them is sort of their content, so what they actually post.
So what attracts me to these brands is, of course, the creativity.
Is it adding value, and does it say a lot about the person?
I think when people are a little bit more bold.
And does it say a lot about what they do, and does it show that in a nice way?
I think what can upset me most is when I go on people's websites and they become their product.
Also like a brand that's very consistent.
Never become your product. You're not your product.
So consistent with what they post, consistent across different social media channels.
To just go out there and be vulnerable enough.
And a brand that has visibility, so it's things like their logo or color schemes or a very clean website.
And bold enough, to say, this is who I am.
Just something that really communicates what they're about.
This is what I stand for.
And anyone can understand that really quickly.
This is my mission, and this is what I want to be, who I want to be in the world.
What are your 3 biggest tips for growing your personal brand?
My first tip is actually maybe not be the popular one, but it's actually starting with the foundations.
First of all, listen to yourself and to your own intuition.
What I mean by that, before I think people should go out to, post and get logos and everything, I think they should work on the personal, so work on themselves.
The biggest tip would be don't compromise.
Also trying to understand their story, their passions, their beliefs, what they value.
Be aware that going out there and showing yourself publicly is an act of courage.
Because before you can go out and build a personal brand, you need to know, yourself quite well.
So if you do not completely own it, it can be very irritating.
And the second one is communication. So what exactly are you trying to get across to a certain audience, and who do you want to be seen as attractive to, or people to take from coming across your personal brand?
Do your branding with somebody who you really feel. It's a very intimate exploration.
I think the third one would be visibility.
Because, it's about who you are and what you really want to do.
Get a brand identity. Create something that's unique, but also very authentic.
And so if you don't completely feel that person, go somewhere else.
That people can relate to you, because that's why they say that you always need a person behind the brand when it comes to companies. So when you're building your own personal brand, we want to be in touch with something that's that we can connect with.
It's about you and yourself, so be demanding.